a big thing is you want to make sure that your PM company that you're working with has a great set of books and that they're actually like using the right chart of accounts, that they're classifying transactions correctly, that they're not classifying CapEx as repairs and maintenance or repairs and maintenance as CapEx. And you want to make sure that the accounting is thorough and effective. And you should ask for a chart of accounts when you start interviewing a PM company to make sure that, hey, this actually looks good. This is the reporting that I'd like to see. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another quick solo episode here on the Multifamily Wealth Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about 3 ways that hiring a property manager or property management company actually saved me money and made me money outside of just the time savings. You're going to want to listen to this. All right, so in this episode, I'm going to be running through why it makes financial sense to hire a PM outside of the fact that you are buying back yourself some time. And that's obviously reason number 1 in hiring a property management company is as an investor, you want to reallocate your time and energy to finding more deals and finding more investors to fund those deals. And you want to be spending less of your time on answering maintenance calls, leasing units, meeting the carpet guy on a Wednesday night. Like, we implicitly understand that. I think most investors really do understand that, even the ones that are afraid to give up management because they think that someone's going to do a terrible job and because they think that they're doing such a better job than a management company that's worth them doing it. Even they probably understand, yeah, it would be nice to get my time back so that I can go and look for more deals and focus on the stuff that really drives value in my business and really helps me grow my portfolio. But in this episode, I'm not even going to talk about that. That's obviously reason number 1, but I'm going to share a few other reasons that you should consider hiring a PM if you are an investor who is currently self-managing. Now, the underlying assumption throughout this whole episode is that you're hiring a good property management company. If you hire a bad one or a mediocre one, you're probably going to be you're probably going to be net negative financially, and a lot of these reasons aren't going to apply. Now, again, you sometimes have to go through a couple of bad ones to find the good ones, etc. But let's just assume you're hiring a really competent quality management company that's got their stuff dialed in and is doing a good job. 3 reasons why it makes sense to hire them. 1, PMs that have scale in a certain marketplace are typically going to be able to source better pricing from vendors, from contractors, from maintenance folks than you with your small portfolio. Right. And let's just say scale 500 plus units, your small portfolio 0 to 20. I don't know, just to start assigning numbers to this. I mean, even if it's 0 to 50, frankly, the higher the scale is, the more pricing power you have as somebody who's acquiring services from someone who's buying services from a vendor. But long story short, things like plowing contracts, landscaping contracts, common area cleaning, the guy who's coming to paints, plumbers, electricians, everything. Like, you get some level of pricing power as a larger enterprise because those vendors are more incentivized to retain your business because they're bringing you a lot of business. And it's much easier as well for the individuals that are bidding out work within a management company who are literally siloed roles where they do that every day to understand what pricing should be for various services. Now, there are the outlier situations where if you're a sole owner and, you've got Uncle Tommy who can come by and replace your lights and paint the common area for like $25 an hour. It's like, sure, in those special situations, yeah, maybe you're saving a little bit, right? Because you have some really specialized contact or whatever. I got this guy who lives down the street who's willing to push his ride-on lawnmower over or push his lawnmower over and mow the lawn. He's going to do it for $100, and your guy says it's going to cost $150. Yes, sometimes there are exceptions to that. But in those situations, you're banking on a non-professional vendor and you're spending way more time than you need to coordinating that work as the owner. When you hire a PM, obviously you're getting the benefit of scale in the vast majority of time, especially if you have a PM that coordinates service and renovations. They're probably going to have a much more dialed in process around bidding out that work than you just kind of winging it with your smaller portfolio. Reason number 2 is PMs who have significant scale in a market are much more in tune with what's going on from a leasing standpoint because they're leasing way more units than you are. So they have a better sense of what a 2-bedroom unit in this particular neighborhood in this zip code rents for because they probably just leased one down the street, or they probably just leased one 2 minutes away, or they probably just have a better sense because they're in the mix on a regular basis as it relates to where rental rates are in particular areas. A story that I still think about to this day, or just a memory I have in terms of me growing my business, was I think I had maybe like 8, 10 units, something like that. Just bought a 3 unit building. I was still self-managing. And I was walking it with it was a broker who I was hoping would give me a value on it. They also did a little bit of property management on the side, managed like 60, 70 units, just kind of a small little management portfolio in addition to brokering the deal. I wanted him to come by to walk the unit to just kind of give a sense of what he felt the property was worth, just so that I had a sense of like, what to expect when I went to a bank. It was almost like a networking thing. Nevertheless, he's like, yeah, what are you planning to rent this for? And I thought 2 bedrooms in that area, and I thought I knew the market really well. I was like, yeah, probably 1150, 1195. This is like 6, 7 years ago. More than that, 7, 8 years ago. He was like, dude, you can get 1350 for this like all day long. Like I just leased one down the street for 1350. Like I would be surprised if you didn't get 1350. Nevertheless, I went and leased for 1350. I listed it for 1350, leased it at 1350. I had plenty of interest. I would have leased it at 1195 or $1,200 or some smaller number that I thought was market. And that wasn't me trying to like cut the rent to like lease it faster. Like that's what I thought the true market rent was. And I just didn't have enough market knowledge like week in, week out to kind of get a sense of where prices are going and what the correct rental rates were. Because all I could do was look at Zillow here and there to try to find some comps. So it's really important from a leasing standpoint, you work with a management company because they're either going to help you price a unit at a rate that does allow it to move so that you don't overprice and accept too much vacancy. Or if you're thinking about leasing it too low, they might coach you up a little bit and say, hey, no, actually you can lease here. And I ended up hiring a management company, not that gentleman, because I wanted somebody who had a larger portfolio. And some of my other buildings, they were like, hey, when this lease goes up for renewal, like I think you can push to this number. And they very quickly started to pay for their own management fee in a lot of the financial efficiencies that they were achieving by just knowing the market better and having some of these savings from a vendor standpoint. Lastly, I think PMs do a much better job at collections from legacy folks than self-managers that don't really have a lot of systems in place, right? Like our PM company that's based in New Hampshire, that I'm a partner in, we also do third party, is like we have a completely dialed in system with our PM software where tenant falls behind, we have all kinds of services that they can get connected with to actually allow them to catch up. Then we integrate with different payment platforms that actually allow them to pay a balance up front, pay it off over time. If unfortunately we need to proceed with some type of non-payment eviction and there's a balance, like we have all the collections agencies we can send it to, and there's a whole dialed in process around that, right? Whereas a solo owner, oftentimes you just don't have the knowledge or the infrastructure to pursue a lot of that stuff, and you end up just kind of eating it. And if you don't, you have to spend so much time pursuing it without the likelihood of collections that it's just now you're fundamentally wasting time. So the revenue management side, I think, oftentimes is improved when you hire a PM company fundamentally, and that's reason number two. Reason number three, and I think this is like maybe the most under-discussed reason to hire a PM, is the absurd time savings you achieve from a bookkeeping standpoint. Like, I don't know why this isn't talked about more in terms of like people pitching why to work with a property management company. Like, fundamentally, your property manager is also your bookkeeper, which may frighten some people, right? Yeah, just read the statements, be a little diligent. But at the end of the day, if you aren't using a PM, your electric bills, your payments to contractors, your payments to vendors, your property tax payments, all of this stuff, you're responsible for all of this accounting and all of this tax prep. So that is a real significant time commitment, even for a smaller building. That's a month in and month out time commitment, whether you're doing it on QuickBooks yourself or you're just doing it every few months. I mean, you have to, there's a lot of transactions that come with running a rental property. If you hire a bookkeeper to do it for you, they're also going to charge you. And you'd probably be surprised at how quickly the cost of that bookkeeper starts to approach the cost of just hiring a management company to do this and wrap in all of the other services they provide as well. Like that's one of the biggest things I think in regards to why you should work with a PM is it's also in-house, it's basically outsourced bookkeeping at a cost that's pretty competitive. Now, a big thing is you want to make sure that your PM company that you're working with has a great set of books and that they're actually like using the right chart of accounts, that they're classifying transactions correctly, that they're not classifying CapEx as repairs and maintenance or repairs and maintenance as CapEx. And you want to make sure that the accounting is thorough and effective, and you should ask for a chart of accounts when you start interviewing a PM company to make sure that, hey, this actually looks good. This is the reporting that I'd like to see. But it is a massive time save, massive financial save, especially if you're hiring a bookkeeping firm or some type of bookkeeper to do that work on your end. So to recap, outside of time savings, which is arguably the biggest reason to hire a PM, number one, you're going to save money on vendors, contractors, maintenance folks, etc., because you have preferred pricing power. Number three, probably going to do a better job on leasing, right? In terms of managing vacancy in regards to leasing at the right price, reducing vacancy, maximizing collections, minimizing delinquency, etc., right? You're going to be maximizing revenue. Number three, bookkeeping is taken off your plate, which I think is a huge value add. If you learned anything in this episode, please leave the podcast a rating and review, and I will catch you guys on the next episode.